Standing up for our kids this week, Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves signed a new bill banning transgender surgeries for children. And just yesterday, Tennessee Governor Bill Lee signed a pair of new laws, one banning trans surgeries for kids and the other restricting sexually explicit drag performances for children. And get this, every Democrat in the legislature voted against it. Tennessee State Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson joins us now to break this down. Senator, thank you so much for being here. Tell us what the law does to protect kids.
Sure, Tom. Well, thanks for having me on. Good morning. First and foremost, we in Tennessee don't think that you should be able to perform sexually explicit adult-themed entertainment in front of kids in public parks. Seems like a pretty reasonable idea to me. As you know, over the recent 12 months or so, maybe 18 months, there have been a number of instances where videos have surfaced of people doing things that I think any reasonable person would say is inappropriate in front of kids. And so there was a huge outcry here in Tennessee from our voters and our constituents saying, well, how in the world is this legal? How can someone in a public park in front of a swing set be simulating sex acts in front of kids? So we looked into the law, we looked into our law and found that there was a bit of ambiguity there. And that's what Senate Bill 3 does, is try to fix that. Just simply say you can't do anything sexually explicit in front of kids.
Yeah, this seems pretty cut and dry to me, Senator. You know, kids can't go see R-rated movies. They can't go into strip clubs. They can't go into bars. Why was this so controversial?
Well, I think there's a lot of misinformation out there about the legislation. Post in some of the different media outlets and how they're reporting it, that I've seen the headline, Tennessee bans drag shows. Well, that's not what the legislation does. We're not banning drag shows. We're not allowing someone to dress up, a man to dress up like Dolly Parton and sing songs, or a woman to dress up like Elvis and sing songs. We're not banning drag. Drag is fine if that's something that you enjoy participating in. But if any entertainment, be it drag or anyone else, crosses that line into something that is sexually graphic and explicit, then it should be age restricted. As you said, we have venues where that type of entertainment can take place. And the consistent thing about any entertainment venue that's going to have that type of sexually explicit entertainment is you can't let kids in there. So why in the world would we allow that type of entertainment to come out of those venues and take place in a public area where kids might be present? And that's all the bill does.
Senator, Tennessee drew national attention last year when a video surfaced of doctors at Vanderbilt University discussing basically how the transgender movement was essentially a cash cow for them. Is it astonishing to you as an official that in such a short amount of time, the transgender industry has co-opted the Democratic Party, that even Democrats in Tennessee, who you would think would be a little bit more conservative than the ones in New York, that all of them would vote against legislation to protect kids like this?
I do find it surprising, and it is concerning. I believe, and you hear people say it, but I believe it's true, that we are in a cultural war. There are forces out there who want to, I think, take our state here in Tennessee or our nation in a direction that most Americans don't want it to go. And relative to the transgender surgeries on minors, I was the sponsor of that legislation as well. And as you mentioned, Governor Lee did sign both bills, the adult-themed entertainment bill as well as the transgender surgeries on minors bill yesterday. And I'm so proud that we now have that in the law in Tennessee. And I am surprised anyone could vote against that. Listen, I recognize that children go through a difficult time during puberty. We all went through it, and some find it more difficult than others. And we need to love those kids. We need to get them the help that they need. But the thing we shouldn't do, and it is now the public policy in Tennessee, we shouldn't do something to a child's body that is irreversible.
Right.
We shouldn't cut off body parts or prescribe medications that are going to make permanent alterations to that child's body. Yeah. When they turn 18, it's a different deal. If they'd like to do something at that time, they're recognized as an adult.
Senator, Republicans in the House in Washington released their Parents' Bill of Rights to ensure that parents, not liberal activists, have a say in curriculum, and they have the ability to try to remove what is essentially pornography and false history from school grounds. Your thoughts on that, and also a state solution in states like yours and others along those lines?
Sure, we've taken important steps here in Tennessee to do just that, to make sure that parents are able to know what is in their libraries and in their classrooms and in their curricula for their kids, and to be able to take action with their school boards. And it's an ongoing effort. I think we can even make it better here in Tennessee. But I was very excited to see our fellow Republicans at the federal level in Washington take similar steps to put these laws in place for the entire nation. The most important thing we can do for our kids is make sure that parents can be active, that parents can be engaged and know.
Right.
And we all know during COVID, that was a big turning point when kids were learning at home, they were doing remote
Right.
learning. Parents all of a sudden became a little bit more attuned to what was being taught and some of the material that was involved. And we saw some outcry from some parents. And I think that's a good thing. The more parents can be involved, the better.
Yeah, well, Senator, as a point of personal privilege, and I usually don't do this on this show, as a resident of the state of Tennessee and a father of three, I want to thank you and all of your colleagues for standing up for basic decency. Senator Jack Johnson, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Tom. Great to be with you.